Where am I? Is that my hands? I don't recognize this person. Is that you? Looking through your screen? That means he finally got me working, huh? So, that would walk you through how I was born. Let's rewind the time.
First, enable the necessary MetaHuman plugin. Next, create a MetaHuman character. In the model section, we'll tweak the parameters to match our reference as closely as possible. For the face, use the Transform and Sculpt tool. Transform lets you move the geometry. Sculpt allows you to make areas larger or smaller. By changing this option, you'll be able to see the textures. The body index contains normal maps for the body. In my case, it didn't work perfectly because I customized the body too much. For the face, though, it worked well. And I like this version because it's very close to my reference. That means I won't need to sculpt all those details later on. Once you're satisfied with your character, download the textures. Now we'll do a DCC export, so we can use other software like Blender or ZBrush. Choose a location for the export and start the rigging process. It might take some time. Inside the exported DCC folder, you'll find multiple base color and normal maps that Unreal uses to make facial animations look realistic. Close Unreal Engine for now. There's a free plugin from Epic that will need to customize our MetaHuman, so let's download it. And download the plugin. So, we've done these first two steps. The third step is to go to this directory and install the plugin for Maya. My directory is different because I have installed Unreal on another drive. But if you have installed it on the default C drive, then just follow this path. Run the MSI file and install it. Next, open Maya and enable the plugin. When selecting the exported DCC folder, it may appear empty. If that happens, just go out of that folder and it should work. Now select the head and body, then export them as an FBX file. In Blender, hide the bones first, and then we can start sculpting. Mask this part to avoid sculpting on it. I'm more comfortable working in ZBrush, so I'll export the head and body separately and sculpt there. I'll start with the head. When you move to the body, make sure to smooth out this areas where the mesh overlaps. If you don't, you might see this kind of artifacts later in Unreal Engine. I'll export two versions, a high poly version with maximum subdivisions, a low poly version with fewer subdivisions. While sculpting, don't use remesher, only work with subdivisions. I followed the same process for the head. Now, back in Blender, I'll bring in my head mesh and bake the normal map. When I bake the normal map, I noticed some artifacts. Before baking, try this step. It will reveal any potential issues. To fix those, just smooth them out in sculpt mode, then bake the normal map again. Right now, the head and body look separated, so let's fix that. First, duplicate this face loop and separate it. Using these snapping settings, snap the edges to match the face loop. Then delete the duplicated face loop. We don't need it anymore. As you can see, it's better, but still not perfect. To improve it further, you should create two collections, one called Original and the other Duplicate. Now, duplicate the entire character and join it. Keep in mind, we need to maintain the edge count. We can't add or delete edge loops. Select the edge loop, press G twice to slide the edges, and then bridge them. Adjust these options. Next, select this edge and add edge weight. Switch to sculpt mode and use the smooth brush to clean up the surface. Now, select the body and expand the selection by pressing Ctrl+. This is why we added the edge weight earlier. Once separated, you can remove the edge weight. If you send this mesh to Unreal now, you might see this kind of issue. To avoid that, we'll wrap the original mesh around the sculpted one. The red mesh here is the sculpted version. Using these snapping settings, snap the edges. . Do the same process for the head if needed. Now the mesh looks good, but if you want perfection, make the edges flow smoothly from the head to the body by snapping vertices. Select a vertex, using these snapping settings. Hover your cursor over the body's corresponding vertex. Press G to snap. Select these upper vertices and press G twice to slide these vertices as well to make edges flow smoothly from head to body. This gives you a clean, seamless mesh, what I'd call a perfect mesh.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
First, duplicate the perfect mesh. Assign materials ending with 1001 for the head and 1002 for the body. This will help Substance Painter in recognizing different UV tiles. Add a UV tile which is missing here. Join the mesh and make sure to save this Blender file. It should contain both the original perfect mesh and the duplicated perfect mesh. We will need it in future. In Substance Painter, import the joined duplicated mesh. With these UV tiles, you can work on textures for the head and body separately. Let's bring in the normal map we baked from the high poly sculpt earlier. Now add the baked normal map here, which we got from our high poly sculpt earlier. Then import the base color and normal map from DCC export folder. Then apply them here individually. Once the texturing is done, export these textures in EXR format. Otherwise, you might get this kind of result if you export them as PNG in Unreal Engine. Keep the fill layer at the bottom. And now I'll import and replace the additional textures used for realistic animation. Replace the normal map and base color one by one, then export all the textures. So these are the textures from Substance Painter and the original perfect mesh from Blender that I've imported. Select the head and run the Conform process. Do the same for the body. If you've customized the eyes as well, you can add them here. Now, assign all those exported textures. Do the same for the body. Next, rig the character and check for any issues. In my case, I have got one issue. Part of the inner mesh is poking through the face. Check the body as well for similar problems. To fix this, we'll perform a new DCC export. Here's the issue we need to fix. Go to Expression Editor. Here it is asking which DNA file you want to work with. In my case, it's the head DNA file. Click here to go into edit mode. My issue is related to mouth when it shifts left or right, so I will search for it. Double-click on these nodes to find the expression you want to edit. If you customize eyes and make them bigger, you might have to adjust eye blink. Now follow these steps. So this is like Inflate Brush from Blender. Gently click on the mesh to adjust it. Then second on the list is Smooth Brush. Use it to refine the area. To customize brush settings, just double-click here. Once done, click this button to confirm your edits. Then replace the head DNA file with the new one. In Unreal, assemble the character with UE selected. Now, double-click on the face skeleton mesh. And by playing this animation, you can check your issue. To resolve it, right-click on skeleton mesh and try re-importing. If the re-import fails, then try import it as a new DNA file. Now you can see it's fixed. Inside the blueprint, if the eyes disappear when the camera moves far away, select LOD Sync and lower this value to fix it. For the clothes, I use Marvelous Designer, but you can also model them in Blender if you prefer. After creating the clothing mesh, import it inside Unreal. For texturing, I used Substance Painter. I exported the textures in XR format and applied them to the mesh. Open the Blender file with the perfect mesh. Select the area where you want to add hair. My character doesn't have much hair, so I'll select only a small portion of it. Then duplicate and separate it. I will use Blender's hair particle system. Once the hair is done, export it as an Alembic file. In Unreal, enable this Groom Import plugin. During import, you may need to adjust the rotation. Now you might say, hairs are not even visible. Well, we will fix it. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you in the middle of the process. Go to this tab and adjust these parameters to make the hair thicker. This one controls the thickness of the tip of the hair. For the material, we'll use Unreal's pre-built hair materials. Open any default hair asset and find its material. Assign that material to your character. If you double-click the material, you can tweak its settings. For example, using the desot option to change the hair color. To attach the hair to your character, you'll need a binding hair asset. Right-click on the hair and choose Create Binding Asset. As you can see, the hair is now perfectly aligned. Now it's time to set up the cloth simulation. I created a cloth asset and added a few nodes. I played an animation to check how the cloth behaves. In the blueprint, add Chaos Cloth and assign your cloth asset. Keep in mind, Chaos Cloth is a bit heavy, so Unreal may freeze for a moment while working inside Blueprint. Next, assign a transparent material in this slot. It's easy to create. Open the material. Change the blend mode to translucent. Set the opacity to 0. Back in the Blueprint, add this node for Chaos Cloth. And that's it, your custom MetaHuman, ready for animation. So you watch the whole process. Impressive. Here are some extra tips for working with animations. Let's say you applied a motion capture animation to your character, and this is how it looks. You might think, I'll just bake it and clean it up. But you'll notice there's no control rig option available here. And working with an FK control rig isn't ideal. To fix this, add the third-person map to your project because it contains a control rig. Open it, and from there, swap the default character mesh with your own. Now, in Sequencer, you'll see a full control rig available. Great! You can start cleaning up the animation easily. Another common issue you might face is, when you apply a facial animation, the head may separate from the body. To fix that, open the animation sequence. Change the specific option. Now, go back to your sequence. Problem solved. The head is perfectly aligned again.